Can you believe that it's already been 5 years since the Chainsaw Man anime finished airing? That's because it hasn't been, but the manga turns 5 this December, which is kind of weird to think about. I'm somewhat of a Chainsaw Man enthusiast, if you will. I've been reading Chainsaw Man since the very first chapter dropped, and I'm a little bit of a fan. So, as such, I just wanted to put together a quick little tier list where I pretty much rank every single Chainsaw Man ending from least favorite to most favorite. This is Ash, thank you guys for tuning in, and I'm not going to waste any more time. We're going to start with number 12, Dino, Takina, Rendezvous by Canaria. Now, with this tier list, I really struggled with the placement of pretty much all the songs on this list, except for first and last place. In this case, I had no issue with putting this track in last place, like genuinely. It does not do anything for me, both visually and in terms of the song itself. Camera just kind of pans slowly, but you do get a couple of nice callbacks to the past of the main trio. You know, Dennis hanging out with Poji, and then Powder hanging out with Meowser, and then Aku and his big, dumb, dead brother. The song itself just feels way too quiet and slow-paced for Chainsaw Man. Like, it doesn't feel like it truly ever starts, and then just kind of fizzles out. I tried listening to the full song a few times, but it just did not do anything for me. Out of all the ending songs that the series has, this is definitely the one where I'm like, yeah, this is just mid. Which, mind you, is a solid 5 out of 10, but when every other track is a 7 out of 10 minimum, it really does stick out like a sore thumb. I've never listened to Canaria before Chainsaw Man, so maybe they have some other tracks that are more up to my speed, but for now, I'm not really a big fan of this one. Next up at number 11 is Fight Song by Eve. Now look, I love Eve. You guys know how many times I played that Jujutsu Kaisen opening in my videos, but this song, it just feels like, oh, it's another Eve song. You got the standard guitar licks, you got the standard beat progression, everything just feels like, yeah, this is an Eve song, alright. But that does not make it bad. Eve is a really popular musician for a reason. He puts out some really good tracks. This is not a bad song. It is not mid compared to the other one. This is definitely where, like, you know, the 7 out of 10s begin. Because I think this one is really good, but it doesn't really stick out for me, you know? Visually, however, this one is fantastic for just showing some downtime for the Hayakawa family. They're going out, hanging out, eating together, and I just love these little slice-of-life moments of everyone just taking it easy. I remember the reveal trailer for Chainsaw Man's anime had a bunch of these slice-of-life moments that weren't even in the final product, like Kobeni on the beach, and they make for a good downtime amidst everything else that goes on in Chainsaw Man. But all in all, it's a fine ending, and honestly one that I can swap at any given moment with number 10, Violence by Queen Bee. Man, I love Queen Bee. Not only are they well known for doing the Dororo opening, but the lead singer, Abu-chan, was also one of the leads in Masaki Yuasa's recent film, Inuo. However, I do have to point out some hypocrisy because Kobeni doesn't get her own ending theme, but the Violence Fiend does? Like, come on, what's up with that? But it's fine. I mean, visually, the ending is monochrome and makes use of a lot of CGI, but I think it looks, it looks fine. It doesn't come off as janky or anything, and the setting reminds me a lot of, like, those cities from Nier Automata. I think what really pushes the song over Fight Song for me is because this one is more like a groovy one. It's more of a bop. It sounds like 90s European techno, and I'm all for it. And I also love how Abu-chan says violence throughout the song. They say it really well. Like I mentioned earlier, this and Fight Song are kind of interchangeable in their placement, but I still think both of them are really good songs. And next up, we got Josei by 2boe. Honestly, this one would jump scare me whenever I was at the gym. This one rocks by virtue of being the power ending, and Lord knows I love my girly power. It's chock full of references like this Bobobo reference that I love, and not to mention all the references to outfits that Fujimoto put power in throughout Chainsaw Man's original run. I absolutely adore the scene where it zooms in on Meowie piloting power like a mech, and the rotoscoped power dance is also like a big highlight. The fluctuating line weight really adds to it, and makes it look especially rough around the edges, which I think makes it look really iconic. This is one of those endings that you watch and you're like, yeah, there's 100% chance these animators love doing it. And like in terms of the song itself, I love the little laugh that happens early on, and the song in general is upbeat and almost annoying, which can be used to describe Power perfectly. It sounds like the type of music that Power would listen to, and there's really no higher praise than that, if I'm being honest. Next is Zanki by Zutomeo. This one grew on me tremendously as I listened to it more, cause like Zutomeo puts out nothing but bangers, and at first when I heard this one I wasn't really feeling it, you know? But when I gave it another shot and I kept listening to the full, I realized how fantastic this was, and it's accompanied by some of the best visuals of any of the endings. It has this really cool isometric view in the beginning that reminds me of like Mario RPG and other diorama based games. It looks sick. The colors are extremely appealing, like any one of these scenes can be looped for use in a lo-fi hip-hop stream. The style itself is a far cry from what Fujimoto's art actually looks like, but I still think it's appealing to the eye with the soft pastels and the spare shading used on the characters. Aki looks so young in this ending, it's kind of funny, but I like it. I really do enjoy how everyone's depicted here. I know the identities of Zutomeo is still a mystery, but man, Zuto and Mayo sure did an excellent job with this one. But going from that, we have Deep Down by Aimer. And even if this one isn't my favorite ending, it's one of the most hauntingly beautiful endings of any anime I've ever seen. Aimer has a beautiful voice, one that's husky and is always accompanied by dramatic instruments. I love that work she did with the Kimetsu no Yaiba second opening. That one is one of my favorites. Her singing in this song is almost like a chant, or I guess more fittingly, like prayer rites. And it's accompanied by these seamless, beautiful visuals that are just out of this world, dude. It's this constant stream of fluidity as it goes through Himeno's final moments, to Makima using her powers, to the light going out on Himeno's cigarette. The monochromatic color palette, only decorated with crimson reds, reminds me of Mad World, and it's like this general blurry filter over the ending that gives it a beautiful texture. It looks like you can like reach out and touch this ending. I love it, dude. It's such a fantastic ending. It sucks though, because like I'm gushing my praises about this song, but it's only 7th place. But it's like, that's how good these endings are, dude. And I guess on that note, in 6th place, we have First Death by TK from Ling Tosite Sigure. Now look, okay, people love to joke about Tokyo Ghoul's opening, which is fair. However, TK can really sing, man. My first exposure to him was with the first Psycho-Pass opening, which introduced me to his signature whispering / screaming style of vocals, and I kind of been in love with him ever since. He was also recently behind the production of the instrumentals of the second Witch from Mercury ending, and that one is just amazing, dude. This one and Deep Down are interchangeable to me, as they're both by iconic Japanese artists who have like this unique vocal style that makes all of their songs iconic. Visually, I adore the letterboxing that they gave this ending, alongside the homage to Goodbye Eri in the form of a stray poster towards the end. It's actually really neat, because it kind of helps you pinpoint when this ending might have been made, as Goodbye Eri came out in April of 2022, whereas the Chainsaw Man anime came out in October of 2022, so this ending had to be made within that time frame. I love the way this ending sounds. Like, not only do you have TK's signature whisper screaming type deal, but just the instrumentals just constantly jerk you around, dude. Especially towards the end of the full track, it legit feels like you're going up and down, kind of like a chainsaw being revved. It can also feel like someone is on the brink of death, and someone else is like desperately trying to revive them with like a defibrillator, which is fitting given the name of the song and also what happens in the episode in which it plays. An absolutely fantastic track that, again, in a lesser anime would have been the best, but unfortunately, this is Chainsaw Man and there's way too many damn good endings in this one. Number 5 for me is In the Back Room by Siodo. This one is used for the Infinity Devil, and I love the absolutely deranged visuals that are sprinkled throughout this one. Visually, there's references to all sorts of painters and optical illusions whose names escape me, but you could probably find them mentioned in 999. The motif of the galloping horse throughout this ending is sick, and I especially adore the optical illusions and mirror imagery throughout this entire ending. It's really crazy to imagine how much work must have been put into this ending for shots that only appear on screen for a few seconds. Hell, like even a few frames in the case of the final sequence that shows like this bloody beast before turning into Denji. Dennis himself looks a lot more Bishonen here than in the other endings, but that's fine, he's still handsome. The song itself has a great instrumental track that ramps up further and further, with Chiodo's vocals getting more and more urgent and guttural as it kicks into the chorus. It ends quietly compared to the rest of the song, leaving you feeling kind of dazed and like exhausted, but I like it a lot. It really adds to the factor of like, yeah, I'm dealing with infinity right now, this sucks. It's almost claustrophobic in a way, and I love it. It's one of the best endings for sure. And at number 4, we got Chainsaw Blood by Vondi. Look man, Vondi has produced nothing but bangers, with Ranking of Kings Opening 2 being one of the best openings ever made, if I'm being honest. Also, I know the lyrics and title of this track is Chainsaw Blood, but whenever the chorus comes on, I'd say Chainsaw Man, you know? I love Vondi's voice. He has one of the most unique voices I've ever heard from a Japanese musician. I listen to a lot of them. I will say, the inclusion of a chainsaw in the beginning reminds me of that one episode of Nathan For You, where they try to get fire alarms past taxation by having it shipped as an instrument, which leads to Nathan hiring a band to use a fire alarm as an instrument in the song.
Eddie off guitar, and he's going to be on Smoke Detector for this one.
Smoke detector?
I know it's a bit weird, but it's really important that this band has a smoke detector in it. I think it could be the thing that maybe makes us stand out.
But I will say a chainsaw sounds a lot better than a fire alarm, so it works here. Visually though, this is the weakest ending because it's just clips from the first episode, but despite that, I gotta put it in my top 5 because of just how good this song is, dude. Definitely keep an eye out on Vondi. He's definitely gonna be up there with like Kenji Yonezu in a few years, just give him some time. At number 3, we have Chutayose by Ano. The amount of love oozing from this ending is actually insane. Having it look like a dating sim from the 90s like Tokimeki Memorial really seals the deal, and I absolutely adore how this ending was handled. I'm a big fan of this one shot of Makima that's based off a famous piece of fan art from a few years back. I distinctly remember this artist because they kept drawing gender-bent versions of Sugimoto from Golden Kamuy, which always made me feel weird. Like, I'd see fan art of female Sugimoto getting piped, but I know in my heart he would never be piped. He's too busy fighting for his life. Nah, whatever, it's fine. I mean, I love how this ending just paints all the chainsaw girls as like these sultry seductresses before it hits it with Himeno vomiting in Denji's mouth. It's great, and it's something I think about often whenever I see people draw the chainsaw woman as like these succubi. These women are devious, do not trust any of them. Ano herself has this really unique voice that reminds me a lot of Kiari Pamyu Pamyu, and I really love how she looks in the music video as well. Her backup dancers got these black bar sensors for some reason, but it's kind of a look. Also, the song ends with her vomiting on you, just like Himeno. Us in the industry call that method acting, and I love it. And I love this ending, it's one of the best. However, it does not compare to the top 2, starting with Dogland by People One. I've never heard of People One before this ending. Hell, I've never heard of a few of the musicians that did endings for Chainsaw Man, but this ending is what made me an instant fan. The lead vocalist has this almost speaking-like style of singing that shifts into a chorus that sounds just like a sea shanty, dude, and I absolutely adore this song. The song feels like going to a bar in the Bronx on a Friday night and seeing a drunkard telling the most insane story you've ever heard, and you choosing to believe every single word he says. And this is like without even going into how great this ending looks visually, not only having callbacks to earlier scenes and characters in the anime, but also calling back to scenes towards the end of part 1 of the manga, which is really cool for like all of us that read the manga. I adore that they just recorded real dogs and applied this heavy filter over it, while also adding Denji to the art. This one scene with Denji being offered Makima's lollipop to him, and immediately having a gun pointed at him, is a perfect example of their relationship, and it only took like 3 seconds to convey. I love him chasing after Pochita in the alleyway. I love how the song ramps up as it keeps going. I love the constant callbacks to the past and the present and the future of the manga. Dude, I love this ending. I could make a video on just how good this ending is, and this easily could have been the best ending in the series had it not been for number 1. Hawatari ni Oku Senshi by Maximum the Hormone. What did you expect? Genuinely, what did you expect? Maximum the Hormone was born to provide a song for Chainsaw Man. This ending is also the second most watched video on Mappa's channel, right behind the Chainsaw Man opening, which is really funny. Maximum the Hormone is famous for having songs that blend like these clashing genres into this devious witch's brew of a song. Whether it's combining heavy metal with pop or ska or rap, this amalgamation is kind of like Tatsuki Fujimoto melding all sorts of insane inspirations into a concise finished product. The song is manic and visually it's just this frantic track with a bombardment of colors, sketchy line art, and just fantastic imagery and symbolism. I love this part when you see Dennis and you see Pochi hanging out inside of him, which confirms he does have that dog in him. It's so rough and almost scary, but then it evens out and mellows out by the end, and it's just full of so much love, just like Chainsaw Man. The grungy bass line that segues into like this kicking percussion and the psychedelic visuals. It's just immaculate. It's a work of art, dude. I don't think I've met a single person that didn't think Ending 3 was the best, and for good reason. I mean, this is just a masterpiece, dude. It genuinely is a masterpiece. I'm sorry to disappoint if you thought I was going to have a different opinion, but no, it is the best for a reason. This is one of the best endings ever made for any series ever, dude. And it is without a doubt my favorite Chainsaw Man ending. I never talk about music on this channel, and of course the one time I do, it has to do with anime music, but I hope you guys enjoyed hearing me rank the endings for Chainsaw Man, and let me know if you want me to rank anything else in the future. Last time I did a ranking was with the Shonen Jump manga as of April 2023, and people seem to like that, so I mean, let me know, you know? But on that note, thank you guys for making it to the end, and I'm going to read off my patrons whom I love and adore. There's Sunmene, Seragno, Big Boot Goddamn, Polaroid Jack, Sarah Lolita, Borplus Vunny, Real Century, Loose, Vento, Sea Crowns, Kiwi Kiwi, V, Andrew, Braystar, Amatiramisu, Logan, Sianaru, and Jiva. Thank you guys as always for your support. I love you all, and thank you guys for watching to the end of this video. I'll see you guys next time. I'm probably not going to talk about Chainsaw Man, maybe, but I'll make no promises. I'll see you guys then.